Today I want to share 20 designers, artists or brands or any other creatives that you should watch for 2024.
Dreadlabs.
What's going on everyone, my name is Tom from Dreadlabs and I'm a graphic designer and visual artist. I'm uploading this on January 1st, so first of all, Happy New Year. Second off, you're probably hungover right now, which essentially means that you don't want to follow a design tutorial right now. Trust me, I get it. So today we're going to keep it light and I'm going to share a couple of designers, brands or other creatives with you that you should follow for the coming year, because I think they will be going places. So I will explain why I actually did this video, because there's another reason for it. But for now, let's just focus on the list. It's in no particular order, so I'm just gonna start off with one of my favorite 3D artists. Archfiend has been a part of the Dreadlabs community for a long time already, and I really believe that he deserves more love. His work lately consists of a lot of cool 3D jewelry, and he's also worked with some pretty notable clients so far. He's been getting pretty big on Instagram and Twitter, but if you don't know about him already, I highly suggest that you should go follow him. By the way, I will link everyone that I'm talking about in this video in the description down below if you want to check them out for yourself, which you should. Second off on its list, this is someone that I haven't discovered until a little while ago, and I hope I pronounced this person's name correctly, but it's Artyom Togo. I am not sure, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Anyways, they create amazing 3D typography. I'm still not sure whether this is done in Blender, Cinema 4D or maybe even Illustrator, but the logo types are amazingly detailed, so I highly recommend you just check it out for yourself. Next up, we got PLSTIP. PLSTIP is a brand that basically goes beyond anything you know. And what I mean by that is everything from the packaging to the execution to the designs on there. For a brand with this size, they really deserve to have more followers. For example, I got a booster pack containing a trading card from them. What they did was they packaged it in a traditional holographic plastic packaging. You know, the ones that you see on Pokemon cards and on Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff like that. But the cool thing is, once you open the card, if you did it correctly, you can use the packaging as a sticker yourself. My sticker is placed on a cabinet here in my office. You can probably not see it clearly, but over there in my cabinet, you can actually see the card. I'll show a close up in the video. Anyways, check them out. Next, we got Chaotix Studios. I'm not really sure what to call this because it's either textile art or a brand, but this person does a lot of creative design pieces with some really unique concepts. For example, they got the flesh ski masks, which are basically ski masks with horns on them, and they rip through different parts of other parts of the textile of this hat, and it's basically really cool. I highly suggest checking it out if you're into unique textile art. Next up, we got Ryan Evans, also known as Rydeas or Rydeas, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Anyway, Ryan Evans is a mixed media artist that does a lot of really cool concepts. From a double exposure portrait made on washi tape to super fun concepts and collages. This guy has basically made me laugh with his work because he just looks really fun, really joyful, and the concepts are amazing. I discovered him through Ugly Books, which is a brand of sketchbooks by John Contino, and they shared Ryan's entries in there, and I absolutely love this work. One of my personal favorites is a piece with Ronald McDonald on it, and half of him is just made with colored thumbtacks, which is really cool. Next up, we got Maarten Huizing. I presume he's a Dutch or maybe Belgian artist, but this illustrator makes such cool work. From what I read from the captions, most of his work is actually illustration, but it just simply looks like it's made in 3D. That's how good it is. I discovered him because he was making a flyer and poster for an event in my local area, and I started following him after that, and I'm flabbergasted every single time that I see new work of his. Next, we got Crudex, also known as Crud55. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's kind of hard when you don't know how to pronounce certain names. You usually read everything from your phone or from your laptop. This designer slash illustrator creates super intricate abstract patterns, and I've been meaning to get some of his work, but it's usually sold out really quickly. Anyways, every time that I look, everything is sold out. They do reso prints and zines and stuff like that, and it's just really amazing. Lots of detail and lots of cool abstract patterns. Next up, we got Anna Mills. I either discovered Anna Mills through Instagram itself or through someone sharing her work on their stories or whatever. Essentially, she creates mixed media posters that are animated. So most of her work is frame by frame animations but made analog, and I just absolutely love that. I don't think there's anyone I've seen so far who does her style. Essentially, there's nothing like her work. I highly recommend checking it out if you're into mixed media or animation for that matter. Next up, I think we got the biggest artist on this list, and that's Jason Galea, aka JJ Cool Juice, and he's the designer slash visual artist for King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, one of my favorite bands. He does their album covers, he does their posters for tours and stuff like that. I think he also works on their merchandise, and the amazing thing is that he is multidisciplinary. One of the album covers that he made lately is literally a painting, while posters can be inspired by 3D work that he makes, where he draws over them and creates these really cool detailed illustrations. So whether it's 3D, illustration, even physical paintings, this guy does it all, and it's really cool. For number 10, I'm actually quite ashamed, and that's not because of the artist, but it's because I cannot pronounce the name properly, even though this guy has worked with me for almost 6 months or something like that. It's Kyubanme. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Anyways, his real name is Shores. He's a visual artist from the Netherlands. He has worked with me as an intern in 2022, and he's an amazing artist. He's really gifted at Blender. One of my favorite things that he does is he creates these really retro visuals, basically these Winamp overlays, if you're familiar with those. Very retro inspired UI visuals. He's also worked with me on a lot of freelance work as well, and it's safe to say that he's really talented. So check him out. Next up we got Innersanctum. I think it's one of those designers that just mastered using textures in their work. One of my favorite works as of lately is the Aphex Twin poster that he did, but he also did a visual with Eves 2 More, and that's where I got into his work, I think. It's from a little while ago, but every single work that he does, you can really see how much texture plays a role in there and how well it works with the composition and everything that he does. Next up, we got Josh Muscat. I hope I pronounced it correctly as well. But Josh is an amazingly gifted 3D and graphic designer. And what I really like about this is that he creates these really nicely detailed animated posters. I think I found him through one of the Pokemon posters that he did. You can really see that this guy has mastered graphic design and 3D animation together, which you honestly don't see that often. Usually you can see really nice still posters and really nice animations, but these animated posters that he makes just work really well. Next up we got Phrine Clothing, which is a clothing brand from my local area Tilburg. Phrine is an adventurous clothing brand run by this guy called Bram, and he does all of the design work, maintaining the website, embroidery, printing, everything he does by himself, which I really admire. I'm not sure if he still does this, but when you place an order back in the day, he would also do a custom graffiti piece for you, so you would get an unique piece of art with each order as well. On number 14 we have Abbrazive. I don't know how long I've been following Abbrazive, but I basically seen him evolve from doing these really cool album covers or visuals with 3D elements in them to mastering 3D graphics basically. He does these really dark sculptures, animations, and it's just really cool when you're following a visual artist for a long time and you just see their work evolve and then becoming better at their craft. And that's something that I've really been seeing in Abbrazive, even though he was already really good at what he did when I just started following him. Next up we got one of those designers that are just a master at using textures, and that's Tego Gratos. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I've been following him for a long time. He's probably one of the first people that I followed in this scene. So that's over 4 or 5 years now, I think. But when it comes to rave graphics or rave flyers or asset tabs, everything inspired by the early rave era, you can see on their page. And I can tell you on multiple occasions, I have been studying their work like crazy, seeing how they figured out to do these textures, how to do proper bleeds in the colors in between them. It's just delightful to see when they've posted, because I'm just always like zooming in on their work. Next up, we got another clothing brand called Permanent Clothing. Permanent Clothing is a Dutch clothing brand, and if I'm not mistaken, this brand is run by Ben van Brummelen, which is a graphic designer for clothing brand Daily Paper, which is a larger clothing brand originated here in the Netherlands. The unique thing about Permanent Clothing is basically that all of the materials, all of the methods that they use to either produce their garments or print on their t-shirts, everything is sustainable in their unique way. From experimenting with coffee grounds to using all kinds of products from nature to bleach their t-shirts or print stuff, you'll find that they are really creative when it comes to sustainable clothing. Also, the graphics are just amazing. Next up we got Rug Soda. I'm not sure how Rug Soda started. If I'm not mistaken, I've discovered him through like Market once when they did a collaboration together. But this guy makes custom rugs, but as of lately he really started evolving and getting more creative with his concepts. He's always done really creative rugs. You've maybe even seen some of them on Pinterest or Instagram before. For example, the old Game Boy Advance SP rugs, or the UV rug where you can shine on your rug to reveal a skeleton with a UV light. But as of lately, Rug Soda has also been expanding into more than just rugs, such as custom ashtrays and pillows and much more. Next up we got Dean Montecillo, I hope I pronounced it correctly again, also known as UnownedDreams, and he is basically one of my favorite illustrators. The amazing details, the mesmerizing color combinations, and the overall style of his illustrations is just something that I really admire and something that I wish I would be able to do. Then we have Super Goog, which is the graphic designer for Mole Grab and Steel City Dance Discs, which is Mole Grab's label. I've talked about him in past podcasts, and you know that I'm a big fan of his work because it's rave inspired, but the concepts on his poster and the illustrations that he does on them are just really, really cool. If you want me to dive deeper into that, I do have a podcast episode on it. It's called Can You Train Being Creative? I talk about his work a fair amount in that podcast episode. But he also goes further than that, for example, doing a one-off bomber with custom graphics, handmade. It's just really, really cool. And finally, we got TotalPsycho. I know TotalPsycho because we sometimes chat on Instagram, and he does these raw 90s art, and what I really like about his work is that he goes further than just graphic design. What I mean by that is that he does these posters and he burns them in actual real life to just add to the aesthetic, prints his work to place on a CD jewel case. And by doing this, he really captures the aesthetic that he wants to go for. So yeah guys, there you have it, 20 designers, visual artists, creatives, brands, whatever that you need to follow in 2024. The reason that I'm doing this video is because lately most of the content that I see on social media, especially on Instagram, is either useless tutorials on ink bleeds that everyone already knows how to do, or on X it's mostly just engagement farming, if you know what that is. Basically, due to the algorithms of social media platforms, actual talented creatives don't get as much exposure as they deserve. I don't want to say that everyone who does reels and stuff isn't talented, but I can imagine that a lot of them are forced to just make content like that to get more engagement, more followers, more sales, whatever. But most of the stuff that I see is people having a really large following, sharing tutorials that are just like really basic, and then seeing their work and being like, not really that good, I guess. And a lot of the people that I mentioned on this list don't really make reels or don't really follow the algorithm. Regardless of that, they are really, really, really talented. Some of them are full-time creative. Some of them do this on the side. So if you want to support them, consider buying something from their shop or whatever and help them out. And of course, I don't want to say that I'm going to give them like so much exposure by sharing this video with you guys. But I figured I would do something in order to help these people out, even if it's just like for one like or one follower, or you know, help them in whatever way that would work for them. Because I can probably imagine that most of them don't really care about likes and followers. So for the people watching this video, I would just want to delight you with sharing some amazing creatives with you. Anyways, rant over. If you want to support my channel, you can leave a like and a comment down on this video. And like I said in the beginning of the video, it would actually be really cool if you would share the creatives that I should follow in the comments down below. This way we can share all kinds of cool creatives with each other and follow all kinds of amazing artists for 2024. Also, since you started liking and commenting my videos more, my videos actually do a lot better in the algorithm. So thank you so much for that. If you want to support Dreadlabs even further, consider subscribing because new videos are coming your way every single week. And if you want to go even further than that, you can also support me by going to my Patreon channel. This will give you access to a lot of perks. I'm not going to talk about them in this video. You've probably heard me talk about it a long time if you're a long time subscriber. So for now, I'm just going to leave you with this. I wish you all the best 2024. I hope all of your goals and dreams come true. And with all of that being said, this is Tom from Dreadlabs tuning out. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully see you guys in the next video.